this meeting of the Commissioners to order. Please join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, everybody. We'll begin with the minutes of our previous meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the minutes of the November 21st meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. First up from Community Corrections is Steve Bills. Steve, there you are.
Hello. Just here for a couple of quick things. I met with Tracy as our advisory board representative for the commissioners, and Jim Wolf, who is representative from County Council, about 4 weeks ago, I think. I was getting ready at that time to go to some meetings and trainings and stuff at the state, and informed Tracy and Jim at that time that I would learn a lot more about this, the $500,000 that we pledged to the new Center for Community Corrections. In doing that, I did get a lot of information at the state level on what needs to be done for me to get that money moved to the county for that project. One thing we do have to do is have an MOU, and I'm here today to ask for permission to talk with Jeff Westling and correspond with him and try to come up with a memorandum of understanding, what that looks like. Briefly, they want something in there, kind of a commitment of some sort from the county stating that it's going to be there available for our use for a period of time, not like a year and then we're out, and kind of get what you're paying for, I guess, type thing. But which I talked to Jeff briefly out in the hall before I came in, and he and I can get that done. I think the second part of that is we discussed was about the possibility of Community Corrections furnishing some staffing for the facility. The state did not give us any funding for staff for that facility. We asked for 3. The state to give us grant funds for 3 staff members. We didn't get any of that. So there are some ways that I can get that done. Talk to Tracy and Jim about that. And I don't know how you guys will have to discuss that. I'm sure probably in an open public meeting about what the county is willing to do. I can basically, I'm trying to look at keeping it for us at about $120,000 a year starting out, and then reviewing where we're at annually. That number may be able to go up, and we may see that we can't sustain that, but I feel comfortable that the $120,000 works. There's a couple ways we discussed that we can do that. We can furnish basically 2 complete employees, us do all the fringe, everything would come out a little over the 120. Of course, health insurance is a big part of that, as you all know. So another way we could do that, it would be furnish 3 employees, and the county, if the county would pick up 3 employees, the county portion of the health insurance for those 3 employees. It takes the risk out for me to where I might get stuck. If 3 people, Zach hired 3 people, females for that facility, and they all wanted the family plan, that would be quite the hit. That usually doesn't work that way, but it could. So what I'm trying to do is at least have some way of kind of having some control over my maximum. And we would be paying that with no grant funds. It would be totally out of project income. If the female side of the work release stays at 15 or 20, it would be self-sustaining. We wouldn't make any money on it, but it would pay for us to staff up to about 120. If it's at 20 females, it's possible the next year we may look at it and we can do more. But so that's kind of where the conversation that I had with Tracy and Jim about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. So, but I guess I'm just here to ask for permission to talk with Mr. Wessling about getting some type of memorandum that he can present to this body and that you can agree to.
Okay, what do you say?
I say I make a motion that you be able to talk with Jeff, get the MOU in place, and then we'll have some further discussion about ways to do, like you spoke of with me. I can share a little bit briefly with Bill Strong, but I haven't really got to speak with you. So we'll work on that too.
Second.
You want to put that in the form of a motion?
She did.
I do.
Okay.
I just added to the motion.
All right. We've got a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to have Steve Bills work with the county attorney to construct a memorandum of understanding between the county and community corrections to the level of funding and or staffing of the jail annex. Is that sufficient, Jane?
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
But Steve, it's probably going to take us both a while to get the bugs worked out of this new system over there. We may not get everything right the first time, but I think that between us and your facility, we put together something that will work. And now, would you anticipate on the female side serving clients outside the county?
I have no doubt that we're going to have counties reaching out to us wanting to put females in that facility. Haven't heard from any in a while, but they all pretty much just got the message that it wasn't available here. We currently, even in our facility, get calls from Wayne County quite often, Rush County, surrounding counties, Franklin County, for the male work release. There's not a lot of work release facilities in the state, so they are a lot of work, but they do stay. Right now, we're about as busy in there as we've ever been. As a matter of fact, we are busier than we've ever been in that facility.
We'll be the only female facility in the entire region around here, and I would expect that to.
I don't see any problem keeping, if we have 15 to 20 beds, 15 I don't think will be a problem, and I really don't see having 20 females at all times being a problem. Certainly we're going to make Fayette County our first priority for inmates or deferral or for deferred sentencing to work release before we would take anybody from any other county. And a lot of counties they'll even put individuals on waiting lists for home detention. That's something we've never done in Fayette County. If the courts want somebody on, they go on. We don't do waiting lists.
Well, this is going to be a new option for the courts to use, so we'll see how it goes. I'm optimistic about it.
I am too. It's been needed for a long time. I think we all know that for a lot of reasons, but it's been needed, and I see it as a big asset to the county, Fayette County, as far as alternative sentencing to jail and prison. I mean, to house an inmate at DOC right now, I think they're saying it's about $56 a day. At our facility, they pay their own money. pay $22 a day to be in Board employees.
Okay. Well, you got everything you need from us?
I think I do.
Okay, well, you and Mr. Wesley can go to work on that and let us know whenever you're done.
I'll tell you, one priority will be to make sure his people at the state level are satisfied with it being able to be a document that allows them to release it. And then we might have some terms that we may need to tweak from you guys, just because there's not 100% direction on it. I think I can make some assumptions, but we might have to tweak a few terms. But as long as we get his folks at the state level satisfied with it, then those tweaks will be pretty easy.
The conversations I had at my meetings with people at the state level, they went right to the top of community corrections for the Department of Corrections. Liz Darlingh, who is actually, like I said, she's the top of the community corrections side at the state level. And he got back with me. I talked to him before I went into a meeting, and then by the time I got out of that meeting, he approached me and said he had spoken to Liz and told me what they needed. So I feel pretty good that, like I said, we can, and I have excellent contact with them. We'll get it figured out, but it will take some tweaking, I'm sure, on both sides.
Sure. I wouldn't expect, though, I wouldn't expect any real pushback from them at the state level on something like this, I wouldn't think.
No, I don't think it will be at all as far as the terms go. I think they're just to make sure they're satisfied with the assurances that the county's giving. Like I quite honestly, I wouldn't have even thought of giving them a long-term commitment based upon their $500,000, just because it's clearly a long-term project. I wouldn't even thought he'd be in there, but it makes sense that it does. So there might be some things like that we encounter, but he said he's got a pretty good list of them, and he can shoot me an email. We'll make it happen.
I know years ago when we did the facility we're in now, when we first did that construction project, it was required, 10 years was the number they kept throwing. And they said that the county basically had to allow us use of that facility for a minimum of 10 years. So that's why I mentioned the 10 to Jeff coming in a while ago and to you guys. But that's, they'll work with me, I'm sure, to stay. It won't. I don't anticipate any trouble getting that money or them agreeing to the stuff we've talked about with the staffing.
Okay, well, thank you, Steve, for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
IT Director Michael King.
Got two quick things for you. Got a little bit of money left on my computer budget, so when I get, I think I got 4 computers that I can get. Dell Optiplex is a line that we've been getting some good use out of. They got a 3-year warranty, so I want to get 4 of those at $885.77. Unless I get a better deal, it's at or below that price from another manufacturer. So. Those are just to keep us in the 5-year plan, the 5-year replacement plan for the towers.
You need to buy 4 of these at $885 each.
Yes. Unless, like I said, unless one of the other manufacturers happens to have a machine that's added below that price that I can get as good of a deal on.
Okay.
I'll second that.
There we go. A motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the purchase of 4 new computers for the IT department at $885.77 each, or less if you can find it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
And then I had a quote from Hillfi for cameras for the annex to replace the ones that we've got there because they're ancient. So quote was $2,010. I just want to go ahead and get those replaced. It's going to use the existing cabling for most of the cameras, and I think it adds 2 cameras over what we've got now. To replaces the 9 that we have. So,
Okay, would you call this an upgrade?
yeah, they're better cameras than what we've got now. I mean, they're not HD cameras or anything, but they're by far better than the 10-year-old cameras we've got out there, over there. Or probably, actually, I think they're like 13-year-old cameras. So, annex for probation. And that EMA guy, he's always complaining about cameras.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy, to approve the purchase of cameras for the annex building from Hillfi Internet for $2,010. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. You got anything else, Mike?
Yeah, the second quote that I had for this is almost 3 times as much, so,
Really?
yeah. I don't know if the cameras will be in this year, but I'm going to get an invoice this year so we can get it on the schedule. With it being this or late in the year, between purchasing, or getting the cameras ordered and getting us on the schedule, we may not get them actually installed at the beginning of the year. But we'll get them invoiced this year so that we get them out of this year's budget, so.
Okay. Well, will you and your assistant be changing these out? Or?
No, Ben's installing.
Okay.
Mike's installing.
All right.
Labor is part of it, so. So any questions or anything for me?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
EMA Director Wade Walling. Wade, do you have anything today?
I do have a couple things. First, I want to let you all know we had intentions to have the siren installed yesterday, testing it yesterday and today, but because of the rain, the weather, we can't get the crane on that property without risking damaging the crane because of the soft ground. So we're postponing it until we have a little bit drier weather. The crane operators feel comfortable being up there on top of the hill to put that siren up. I am working with Hudson Mechanical. I'm contracted with them. I'm getting some paperwork drawn up so I can at least get the funds encumbered from this year's budget to make sure that we have the funds just in case we get a string of soggy weather where it keeps getting pushed off. I'm really hoping to get it done as soon as possible, and that's what I told Steve Hudson at Hudson Mechanical. As soon as we have an opening, we need to go forward with it so we can get it squared away out of this year's budget. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you all about is, I believe back in September I brought to you all the project that I'm working on with Dr. Beth Hall at Purdue for the weather, the Mesonet weather station. This BRIC grant, and today I'm asking or requesting approval to commit time, labor, and materials to this grant as an in-kind match instead of us giving out cash or matching with cash. It would be time, labor, materials, and the ground that we put the weather station on. I don't know if you all have a copy of this, but this has the breakdown of the budget with it and a copy of what the weather station will be. So the grant through FEMA is a 90-10 grant, with 10% match being our contribution, but this can be an in-kind match. So it's not taking funding, it will just take time and materials, a little bit of concrete, and somebody dig the holes. So I've been talking with Jay a little, and I've also been talking to Josh a little bit about what we'll need to do. And I'm requesting that we put it up at the animal shelter in the open lot there because it's kind of representative of the whole county in that little area. Plus it's kind of more secured, so I think we can get by without putting a chain link fence around it because there's not a lot of traffic up there. So I'm here to request approval for that. I will need a commitment letter. That's the one thing. I've got everything for the grant done in FEMA Go, but I will need a commitment letter stating that we'll do our matching on it. And I've talked to Jane a little bit about that, what I need there. So,
What kind of timeline you looking at there?
so I have to have the grant submitted by December 15th.
Okay, so you need the letter right away.
Yeah. Every time I get a grant going, they're like, we need it right now.
Yeah.
Give me time. So it's crazy. You'd think you'd have a year to work on building a grant, but you don't.
Well, since, before we go any further here, Wade, if you don't mind, briefly, since you have the podium and you're on camera, explain what this means to Fayette County to get something like this.
Sure.
Because, you know, between us and Wilmington and all that.
So currently, Fayette County, we get our weather from Wilmington. However, when I send out alerts, I'm watching two different weather services. I'm watching Indianapolis, see what goes through Shelbyville, through Rush County, and then coming towards Fayette County. But we get our alerts from Wilmington, Ohio, from the National Weather Service. And they get their information from sources like Shelbyville or Indianapolis. There's not a Mesonet weather station in our general area in East Central and Southeastern Indiana. So we will have the only WeatherNet station in the surrounding counties, which will make us a hub for data and information, and it will allow the National Weather Service to more accurately predict severe weather, storms, flooding, snow and ice, so that we can keep our citizens apprised of what's going on in real time. Working and partnering with Purdue will allow them to glean that data that comes with that weather station for trending analysis of weather predictions that are coming, what we think might happen. But this will give us an accurate data set to actually look at and then make informed decisions off of. And I'm quite sure that all of our surrounding counties will then be relying on our weather station to provide up-to-date, real-time information to help them plan for emergencies or ice storms or severe weather issues. So I think this is a great opportunity. Whenever I did the grant, I had to do what is called a FEMA BCA tool, and that's the benefit over cost evaluation. So I used our multi-year hazard mitigation plan that we built, that Adrian started, and I took out of that damages since 2010 up till today. And through that, I think there were $256,000 in weather-related damages, but we don't have good data because we've never collected good data. So this will allow us to start down that path of getting the data we need. So when FEMA comes in and says, what kind of damages do you have? Is it a national emergency? Is it a state declared disaster? And then we go to look for funds to backfill the payments we've made to get our county up and running. This will go very far in allowing us to get that information. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, long story short, we won't have to rely on Wilmington, Ohio
We'll have it in our back.
weather alerts, because since they're so far east of us, if they put out a tornado warning, it's already here before they warn us.
Right.
So we're going to be much more up to speed.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I have one question. In this, so the annual sustainability of it, like the field, are you going to be the person, like the field tech?
I'll be the project manager.
Project
and,
manager.
Out of the grant funding, we'll pay for that for the next 5 years. But that will be done, the maintenance and all the upkeep of that will be done through Purdue.
That's good.
I'll let far more smarter people than me manage that.
You need,
Just need approval and a commitment letter.
okay, or we'll have to work up the commitment letter for you. We can do that, can't we, Jane?
Yeah, I say if they want to go ahead and make a motion approving you to sign it, and then I can get with Jeff or Wade.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the Mesonet weather expansion project in
Yes.
Fayette County. Is that good enough?
That's perfect.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. All right, as soon as we have something to sign as far as the commitment letter goes, we'll get that out to you, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Highway Department, Jay, do you have anything today?
Yes, I got a couple of papers here. Like I did when the first guy started the schooling for the truck drivers. That's for the mechanics up there right now. He was been up there since the 27th doing it. He's on his second week, so it's just his commitment. I gave you 2 copies, one for him, one for you guys. We signed one on the other employee when he went up there.
Oh, okay. All right. And he's there now?
Yeah, he's on his second week of it.
Okay.
As far as we had a truck go down last week. We already have one down. The one that I have up there, Green Fork, they're trying to figure out the depth system on it, and they can't get it going. They're waiting on our computer to get back. They've had it for about 3 weeks. And they said they're getting close, but they're not sure. So it's one of the freight liners we got bought back in 12. Remember when we bought them?
Yeah.
And then the other one went down. It did not go down with the same thing. Something come apart on the motor in it, and they got it up at Fort Wayne up there at Stoops. And they got to take the motor out and fix it. They've already seen down a quote on the bill on it, so about $4,500 to get it back on the road. He said they'll have it by this weekend, so.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope nothing else goes down.
Yeah. Well, we're at their mercy on these things.
Yeah. I know they hauled some gravel last week, and they've been trying to straighten roads up and looking for trash or anything out there and putting signs up. They're trying to get the gates back up that was on Waterloo. They got the one up down where the bridge is at, but the one that got run over up there on the other end, when they went to locate it, they can't find a spot to put it up. It's got too many wires located.
Really?
Don't ask me what's happened up there. But they're going to try to hand dig it and put it in this weekend, this week through the week. Probably when it dries out, probably Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
And we'll get it back up. That's all I have. You guys have anything for me?
Okay.
So we need to make a motion to approve for this?
Yeah, we need to approve the reimbursement agreement between us and Michael Borger.
Mitchell both. So I'll make the motion. That one approved for the reimbursement. That's for the CDL training
Yeah, he
for Mitchell
was the
both.
one that didn't have a CDL license at all, and he had to go through the whole thing. So
Second.
he's already got his beginners, and he started him on the rest of it, so.
We have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to approve the training reimbursement agreement between the county and Mitchell Boger.
Yeah.
Is that right? Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. We'll get his copy to you right now, Jay.
Okay. I'll get it to him.
Okay, the other one You want the auditor to keep it, or are you keeping it in your file?
I think Jane got the last copy, didn't you, Jane?
Okay. Very good. Anybody have anything else for Jay? All right.
Thank you.
Hang around.
Hang around.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Did I see the sheriff come in?
Step in, step down.
Okay. County Surveyor Bill Mackey, I know you have something today.
Yeah, I've got, one thing, I know I emailed you 3, but Bruce is gonna take care of the other 2 when he comes up. This is the professional service agreement between SJCA and Fayette County, just when we use them, it needs to be in place. I mean, probably an updated version of what we've had before. So you took a look at it?
I got it, reviewed it, all boilerplate stuff, I don't have any issues.
Just needed to
Yeah.
sign so we can have a new updated. You all seen the copies of it? See
Yeah,
what I sent you?
I've got copies.
There's the signature page if you all want to do that.
And what was,
That's the SJCA one. Bruce is going to take care of the 2 Butler Fairman ones that I sent you. I didn't
Okay.
realize he was going to be here to take care of those.
all right, what's the bottom line on this one?
It's not a dollar amount, it's just when we use them, it's just fees are set and different things, kind of like, I think he's going to have one for Butler Fairman to update too.
Okay,
But it's just whenever we use them, it's just a, yeah, so it gives
Whatever
us.
the rate is at that
Yeah,
time.
and, yeah, to have an agreement, we just, if we don't have the agreement, we can't say, well, we need you for, if they're the only ones who can get here, then, we have rights to use them.
You need to approve the agreement.
Second that.
okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the professional services agreement between the county and SJCA Incorporated of Indianapolis. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane.
Should I date it?
Sure.
Is it good?
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. County Attorney, do you have anything today?
I do not.
Okay. Does anyone have anything under old business? Under new business, we have a Christmas event planned for December the 20th. Tracy, you want to speak to that?
Sure. I've noticed, I've been here 2 years, and Fayette County doesn't do anything together to celebrate Christmas or. So, and with me catering, also being a caterer, I asked if it would be, well, first of all, we did surveys with everyone, department heads, to see things that they would appreciate. And one of the things that was put several times was to bring back Christmas dinners. So then I spoke with Jane and Haley, and we made some plans, and so we are going to do that. And we're going to make it official today with 2-hour closing on Wednesday, December 20th, from noon to 2, so that we can have dinner.
Okay.
And people, Jane just showed me this nice flyer she's going to be sending to the Fayette County. And they would need to respond on that RSVP by December 15th, so we would know how much to prepare. And we'll have food in this room, probably, and we'll go through all those details together, but I just thought I would go ahead and say it, so people know that we care.
Okay. Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to close courthouse offices on December 20 from 12 noon until 2 p.m. for a
Holiday dinner.
holiday dinner. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Okay, next on new business is our community crossings matching grant projects for 2024. And we have picked out a couple of roads as next year's projects. That would be County Road 450 West from 200 north to 1000 north, and Everton Road from State Road 1 west to County Road 50 west. Anything, now I'll invite you, Bruce, to jump in on this if you feel the need to.
Okay.
Is there anything, are we leaving anything out here? Now this project may be a little bit too big for the funding, but we need to.
Yeah, do you want me to?
Sure.
Okay. Not that I want to, but I will. So my name is Bruce Byers. I'm with Butler, Fairman and Seifert, and you've seen me up here before. I deal with the CCMG projects and all the PASER work and the asset management plans for all our clients. For the 2024-1 project, we've already had discussions, and the email I got from Jolissa also pointed out that where we would stop and start County Road 450 would depend on the availability of funding after we did the estimate for Irvington Road. Is that that's my understanding, everyone's understanding?
That makes sense. I mean, you know.
So if the estimate comes in to the point where we can't do all of 450, we will get back with you and say, okay, do you want us to start at 200 and go as far north, or do you want us to start at 1,000 and go as far as we can south? Or I don't think you'd want to do something in the middle, but that's how it would work. And we should have estimates for you, I would think within the next 4 weeks. Second on that project is we will have an agreement in front of the commissioners for their next meeting to act on for that calling, to do all that, to do the work, to do the application process, to do the bidding process, and also have construction on there all at the same time. What we've done in the past with the county is, and the county has always requested it, was that we just do the application part of it as an agreement to start with, and then that's the reason why we're going to be back here for the submittal after we get done talking about this. In those days, it was actually a competition to get funding for your annual or now semi-annual CCMG calling. It's no longer a competition. They have more money now than they do for requests for funds. I don't know if you're aware, but 3, 4, or at least 4 years ago, the state legislatures found out that they were going to run out of money for this project, and so they made permanent funding for it. So there's money that comes out of fuel tax, and there's money that comes out of your, there's a little bit of registration money that comes out of every motor vehicle that funds this permanently. So they're always going to have money, so there's no need anymore to separate the agreements. We just put it all into one. So phases 1, phases 2, and phases 3 will be presented together, so that we don't always have to come back and just get another agreement, another addendum, and another addendum. on that agreement. I think that makes sense.
That sounds like a much better system to me.
Yes, yeah, because now we know you're gonna get it. You apply, you're gonna get it. So, we'll have that agreement put together for you for your consideration at the next meeting.
Good.
So, do you want me to go into what the other two agreements right now? So you have two agreements in front of you.
Right now,
Oh, okay.
right this minute, we have on the table, we want to officially make these two projects our 2024 projects. And then while you're there, we can go on to these other agreements.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Do you want to set these two projects officially for 2024?
I'll move to make Everton Road and 450 West from 200 north to the county line, the roads for the 24 cycle.
Okay. We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to officially establish that county roads, or Everton Road from State Road 1 to 50 West, and County Road 150 West from 200 north to 1000 north for the 2024 Community Crossings Matching Grant Projects. All in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, now let's go on to your agreements. Please.
Okay, so in front of you this afternoon are two agreements for your consideration and approval. One is a new general services agreement. If you have it in front of you, if not, it's pretty thick. It's basically pretty much all the legal items that needs to be in an agreement if there wasn't a general services agreement established. This establishes the general service agreement. We have, believe it or not, have referenced one from 1994. Probably should have been changed years ago. So we've updated the agreement. It's a new general services agreement. So from now on, when we do a submittal agreement, it'll be referencing this one with this date. So that's one that we would ask that you would be able to approve this afternoon. And then the other one is a submittal for the 2023-2 project. Again, we're doing this because we split it up. So this one is going to be for $5,750 to prepare the bid documents and do all the activities that are involved with the bidding. It should also include all the LTAP requirements, like award of a contractor bid that needs to be sent to LTAP, and then also the closeout documents at the end to make sure that the project's all closed out and the county still can go ahead and be considered for future projects. The other one is, underneath this agreement, is construction inspection. It's in there for $24,000. It reads that the engineer will be paid for the following work on an hourly, not to exceed basis. So you may not spend $21,000. You may only need to spend $7,000 or $8,000 or whatever. But this number puts a cap that says that Butler, Furman, and Seifert can't go past that number without coming back to the three of you and requesting more money for the engineering.
Okay. And this all totals up to what? $49,406.
So the original, so if you look at the last page, the original is $19,656. You've already paid that. That's the lump sum to do all the preliminary engineering. That covers the first agreement. So this supplement covers the total of the bid documents, and again, the construction services with a not to exceed number of $24,000 would be a total of $29,750.
got you now.
Can I answer any questions?
I'm just getting clarification.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just know what everybody's doing and how
Okay.
it might overlap someplace. I didn't know, just making sure it's not, but, yeah, you guys know what we're doing, so I'll got some clarification.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay. You want to do both of them?
Both of them.
Okay. I have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve these two agreements between Fayette County and Butler, Fairman, and Seifert. And how do you want me to name these, Bruce, for our record
Well,
purposes?
the first one would be general engineering services. And then the second one would be 2023-1 Community Crossings Supplemental Agreement number 1.
Okay. I won't try to repeat that. You getting that, Jane? For our record keeping purposes, we need that down in print somewhere, so.
Right, I mean, you could just go CCMG, you don't have to go community
Yeah,
crossing.
okay.
TCMG 2023-2. Right.
The original agreement was written for 2023-1, and then there was an issue, and then you got bumped out of that calling into this next calling. So for legally, we thought that it should stay 2021.
Okay.
Yes. It is in the two calling, but for at least for this agreement, we're going to go with that.
Okay. Is there any further question on these two agreements? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Takes care of that.
Okay.
Now, did you have anything else?
No, I've got a couple of copies of these. If you need some copies, I'm more than happy to hand them over.
I copied what was emailed
I'll take
to
one.
us.
Okay.
I read them.
Well,
They'll need to sign those.
for copies that you can either use to sign, or I don't know if James got.
If you guys want to sign his colored versions, I'll make
Yeah, well,
copies to send to everybody after the meeting.
we can do that, because we've got, we need to take care of these signature pages today. And Let's hope that this 2024 round goes smoother than 2023 did.
It was a bumpy ride, but we got there.
Now, who's going to take, you need to take a,
We could take one copy back with us.
okay, you need to take these back with you.
Just one of each is fine.
So Jane, you tell us what you need as far
If
as,
that's okay.
Are you gonna stay till the meeting's over?
Sure.
Okay.
We have nowhere else to go.
we won't be here that much longer, but when you go home, we want you to have everything you need,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
I think that takes care of that. Is Gertrude still here?
I'm hiding behind the
I
desk.
couldn't see you back there, Gertrude.
Am I up?
Yeah, Gertrude Whitaker is here, and she's going to give us an update on the Indiana broadband status.
Oops, I think I gave you two. Tracy.
Yeah.
And I'll reference this here in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, Fayette County Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me to come. This is going to be just a general overview for the year for the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, of which Fayette County is one of our 6 county members. We serve a region of Fayette, Henry, Rush, Randolph, Union, and Wayne counties. And we do appreciate your membership, and also Commissioner Dale Strong representing the Fayette County Commissioners on that 36-member board. This is, I'm finishing up my first year as the interim director for the ERPC, as they use the acronym for Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. Where we stand is, as of February of 2023 of this year, the EDA, which is a department of the U.S. Department of Commerce, the federal government, they have approved our SEDS plan, which our former director, Jeff Plasterer, and the then board has been working on for the last 5 years. Our region is really in its infancy. There's 15 regional planning commissions throughout the state of Indiana that cover most of Indiana's 92 counties. There's a few counties who are not part of an RPO, but we are in a rebuilding phase with our region, and it's nice to see that we're moving along as far as we are. The SED stands for Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. This is the plan by which all of our 6 counties have put in, these are priority projects for us and where we need to go moving forward. We have to have this in writing because the main purpose of ERPC is to be that conduit for the federal government, the EDA, to release federal funding to put towards these regional plans. We have approval of the SEDS. The next step, which is what I've been working on, is completing the regulatory and programmatic requirements to get our economic development district designation. We have all of our regulatory issues turned in. Everything else on the programmatic is completed except for 2 final steps, one of which involves the fact that we need to hire somebody. We are not at a capacity, with me being the only employee of this organization, to be able to complete the actual grant writing, project development that's required. So I'm just making a public call that we are in the process of looking for someone as an assistant director who will be doing project development, and they have to have grant writing certifications. So that's where we stand. We do expect in the new year, in 2024, that we will have this approved, that we'll be able to hire someone to bring them on board. And that'll start triggering that EDA funding so we can move forward with the SEDS projects, which Fayette County and our other 5 counties have started on or have submitted. Obviously, a big concern right now is with the Indiana broadband, the BEAD funding. The monies have been released, the $868 million. And you know what, I think I gave somebody one of my notes. If I can just take a quick peek here. Do you have an X? Not that one. Jane, if you don't mind me borrowing yours, and I'll give this back to you so you have that for your notes. If you'll go to page 2 of the memo I gave you, the first thing that is happening prior to the BEAD funding is that the federal government put out a reverse auction to provide their own fiber optic infrastructure. Fayette County has fallen into this RDOF, which is the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, just because of where we are geographically standing. They're starting in Franklin County. Charter Communication won this bid for this section of eastern Indiana. They're starting in Franklin County, and in order to complete their work in Union and subsequently Wayne and Randolph County, they have to go through Fayette County. So as you see on the memo, they're doing all the areas east of State Route 1, and they're also doing the areas around State Route 121. And then when you look at the map, and there is an online map with this link that I included on here, there's also going to be various locations west of Connersville and northwest of Connersville. It doesn't make sense, but as I was sharing with Commissioner Strong and was getting the update from Charter Communication, the federal government doesn't always make sense in how they lay out the boundaries. Those boundaries cannot be changed. They've already been submitted as part of this grant, and they're set. So there's parts of Harrisburg that are going to get fiber optics and be live with that probably by the end of 2024 or 2025. Nobody really knows why some of those areas are going to get it. But anything you see with the link on the handout that I gave you, I'm going to email that to all 3 of you commissioners. Everything is online now, and it would be a waste of paper resources for me to print everything out, and honestly, it would just probably go in the circular file. But I'm going to ask, please go over the links, review those so that you have that information. The important dates is that construction's already started on this in March of 23, and the activation forecast is going to start the end of this year. They're probably not going to start until early 2024 because there's been some construction delays. But the main rollout will be done in 7 phases, completed by year 2025. So that's the RDOF. Going back to the first page, the Indiana Broadband Office, they're the ones that have been scripted by the Lieutenant Governor to oversee the entire federal funding of money given to the state of Indiana. There were 6 listening sessions in November that were held throughout the state of Indiana. In our part of eastern Indiana, the one session was held in Randolph County on November 14th. A very comprehensive overview, and I gave a paper printout copy to Commissioner Strong that the 3 of you can share. But I'm going to send you this first page link, because as you can see, it says the website here, the proposal for Volume 1, Volume 2, they're all part of the Indiana Broadband Office updates. The main thing I think that you're going to need to know as commissioners for Fayette County as part of this area of eastern Indiana is that we all have the speed test fatigue, but there are challenges that are going to have to take place, the state challenge process, in order to verify for a final time what areas are considered priority areas which are either not served or underserved. Those speed tests are going to have to start up again in February of 2024. That's a critical date for you to know. There is training that's going to be made available to teach our elected officials and our nonprofit organizations to help the public go through the either connectindiana.com or call their number to, if they don't have computers at all, to let them know, I'm either not served, I don't have a computer, or if they are served, to let them know what their speed tests are. So that is the key date to know. The other thing that they were very honest with when talking about the funding is that there are some areas, just because of that end-of-mile location, that are what's called the extremely high cost threshold. They're not going to get fiber optic. The cost of that infrastructure to dig out to put into those end-of-line areas will probably be too cost prohibitive to allow them to do that. But they are looking at what they call a last mile broadband deployment project, which will either partially provide fiber optics or do a non-fiber optic option, which honestly that's wireless. So that first page on the handout, you're going to get those links. If there's a website that you can put those on for the public to review, to keep up to date for these deadlines, starting with the speed tests in February of '24, going into then the spring of 2024, please make those available. Are there any questions on this?
Gertrude, now that for the information, or to inform everyone who will hear this meeting, you say we're now going to have to go through the process of speed tests again?
One last time. Now they promised this is going to be it, but that's part of, as you'll see in the state IBO book and in the handouts I'm going to send you, that's part of that state challenge process to verify which locations are going to be available for funding. And those again are the unserved or underserved areas. The best level of evidence is a speed test, or if you can even do a speed test. And that's what the state office is going to go by. They're saying that for any location, speed test has to be done on 3 different days. So for example, at my home in Fayette County, if I felt like I didn't have the proper internet connectivity or Mbps speeds, I would have to on one day do that speed test, whether it's online or calling the number, and then I would have to, again, the next day and another subsequent day, do that test. So we're going to be expecting our community to do 3 days of speed testing to get that evidence into the state broadband office.
Is there any way they can possibly make this harder for people? And I'm being sarcastic.
I know you are. I know.
I have beat the drum in Fayette County on this whole broadband project. And I and other people this year have made an extraordinary effort to get as many speed tests into the system as possible. And for them to slap us down and say, now we want you to do it again next year, it is just frustrating.
It is frustrating, and they did understand that at the public session last month, and they said, please just bear with us, this will be the last one. Because the money's now been released. It's not just when and if it happens, the money is now released to the state of Indiana. It's getting this process, and you see how thick that handout is, following those processes for the state challenge, for their subgrantor selection process, for their overview and criteria of scoring what areas will be receiving the funding to get the infrastructure put in. And they have 2 different scoring matrices, easy for me to say, that they went over in methodologies. And then there's the part about the digital inclusion and the affordability, so that maybe someone doesn't have a computer and use it because they can't afford to pay for the monthly internet fee. And those are real things that they're at least addressing and being realistic about the rural parts of this area in Indiana, that there's going to need to be some other financial assistance as well. And that's where the affordability steps in. So I will make sure I get all of this to you. I'm sharing this, it's not because this is part of what, ERPC is not part of the project, and selection of where the funding is going to be distributed. But I certainly feel that as a regional planning organization, it's a high priority for us to let our counties know and those member counties be part of this. And of course, I was thrilled at the public hearing that covered only this part of Indiana, that out of our 36-member board, we only had 2 representatives at that meeting. So, you know, again, the process has to be on the individual counties to get that information and share that throughout with their residents, with their citizens. But it's frustrating, but we have to do it one more time, Commissioner.
Well, I don't like it.
I'll note that.
You do that, but, you know, if
Dale
you...
doesn't like it.
Well, at our legislative session that we held in Newcastle recently, if I remember right, Senator Lysing was there, and she said that the BEAD funding, she didn't expect any of that to be released before 2025. Now, that was my recollection. Are you in tune to that?
I was there because this legislative reception was part of our Regional Planning Commission quarterly board meeting. We invited 8 of our 4 state senators and state representatives to attend, and we had 2 of our reps and 2 of our senators there, so that was great just to have their input. Senator Lysing did say that and allude to that, but again, I do have to remind you, there's an amount of uncertainty that even our elected officials on the state side don't know the full process themselves. Because why? There's a criteria, which you have there in front of you in that handout, that the Indiana Broadband Office has been building to go through again, the state challenge process, and everything else, to make sure that they're following right processes to get everybody included that deserves, and is either underserved or not served. So, you know, I think that the money will be released before 2025, but the state has to do all of this work in the beginning of 2024 first. So it might be later in the end of the year. It could be 2025. Crazier things have happened.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on the BEAD funding and this process through the Indiana Broadband Office?
Well, I'm not going to beat up on you anymore. Does anybody have any questions for Gertrude on this? Gertrude, we appreciate the update.
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done?
Commissioner, I have a couple more things. If you'll look on page 3 of the handout, I wanted to make the commission aware, and this probably will be more for your highway superintendent, if you would please forward that, but the Indiana Department of Transportation, they're going to hold a safety summit on January 19th in Indianapolis. It's a full-day summit from 9 a.m. to 3:45. The director, or the commissioner of the Indiana Department of Transportation, they realize that there's been an increase of roadway fatalities and accidents by 25%. They're looking at ways to work specifically with local elected officials, local entities, as well as on the state level, on what can we do to identify problem areas and to tackle that goal of reducing that 25% severe and fatal accident over the next 10 years. So you have the invitation in front of you, and I would ask that whether it's you as the commissioners or someone from your highway staff, that you make sure somebody is in attendance at that. Second, tied in with traffic studies. One of the main things that the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission just completed in November was our 2023 contract with INDOT for the 6-county traffic study. We contracted with a group, pardon me, to conduct the studies throughout our 6-county area. So the Heartland MPO did all the, you probably saw either cameras, tubes across the road in certain areas, doing these studies over a 30-day period. The nice thing is that we were able to have each of our 6 counties submit priority locations that they wanted to have included with this study. So for the most part, All of those priority locations were included with the sub 178 counts. And as you know, these traffic counts are very important because they're predecessors to your county's development. They're part of the cost containment strategy for developing road improvement projects. So this is what your superintendent for your highway department needs, what your engineers that you hire for bridges and roadway and railroad crossing studies. This is critical data. The nice thing is we did an overview with our executive committee and county commissioners that wanted to participate. Commissioner Strong was part of this and was able to join us after one of his other meetings. But all of this data is going to be public knowledge. The Heartland MPO, they use the same MS2 tracking system that NDOT uses for all of the state's traffic counts, railroad crossings, bridges, and that will be made available for any of your studies and for your specific highway department for anything here in Fayette County. Are there any questions on that? All right. And finally, I have on the last page of the handout, I am submitting for approval the invoice for year 2024 for the annual dues for the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. These dues, we ask that they are remitted by January 31st, but knowing that there's no additional appropriations in January, I wanted to get this on the commissioner's schedule and into the docket for approval so that we can have that paid and continue our work in year 2024.
You don't trust us, do you?
Oh, I trust you, but you need paperwork. So I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, all the best during this holiday season. Thank you for allowing me just to give this brief update. At any time, I am available to answer questions that you may have on any of our SEDS projects as we get going with our EDA funding and anything else on the Indiana Broadband BEAD funding.
Gertrude, thank you for this update.
You're very welcome.
Very appreciated. And
That's at the changes.
anyone having questions for Gertrude on this?
All right, thank you again.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Is there any other new business need to be discussed? Anything, Jane? Is there any patron concerns?
Nobody left.
All that leaves is payroll and claims.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve claims and payroll. All in favor, signify by saying so. Aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. I think everybody had somewhere else to be today.
Christmas shopping.
forget anything?
Problem.
Well, we'll pick that up at the next meeting, I guess. We forgetting anything, Jay? Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to adjourn. All in favor? 3 ayes. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.